Welcome to another episode of Cask of Men. Today we're up here at House of Stereo hanging out with Joe Parvey, who is the owner, and we're going to talk about some sound isolation products and techniques and room treatment. So Joe, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Pretty good.
I've got a little food in my belly. I'm feeling much better. Yeah.
Also, we have whiskey as tradition on a Cask of Men.
Some scotch in my belly. Cleverly hidden by the Starbucks mug.
There you go. All right, Joe. So why don't you tell us a little bit about House of Stereo? What you got going on here?
Okay. Well, as you'll see, and as you obviously can see here, we're under construction. This is our temporary space. We've got a 20 by 60 unit. Construction is actually going on in the wall behind us. Not as quickly as I'd like, but what can you do? So we've got a pretty cool room set up here with about 5 or 6 stereos where we've gotten some surprisingly good sound, thanks in part to a little bit of what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Sure. And it takes time to set up quality rooms and theaters. So
it does, and you know it's really hard to just take an empty room, throw some equipment in it, and have it sound good. There's a lot of steps that need to be taken. There's a lot of things that need to be used.
All right, so Joe, what different types of systems do you sell here? Analog, digital?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. We're a 50-year-old shop. Analog has very much always been a mainstay. Since I took over, I brought my own company with me, Wolf Audio Systems, which I started back in 2014, 2015. So we've gone a lot further in the digital than it was previously, but analog and digital both kind of take center stage here.
Good. I like your collector's edition of VPI turntable over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of it. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, how much are these record cleaner?
The record brush?
Record brush cleaners,
I think they're about $12. I think I have a new.
All right, so let's talk about some sound isolation products and dampening products that you can use for your components. Funny enough, today's episode is sponsored by Hudson Hifi. So they provided us with their take on some sound isolation feet that they've kind of perfected using platinum silicone, is what they call it. So we use some of those that you'll see later to test on the components here behind us. They worked out pretty well.
I think it worked out well. The big ones supporting our Rogers High Fidelity tube amp. We put some of the, the 1.5 or the 2-inch under the caps?
Yeah, it was might have been the 1.25.
Okay, yep. And pretty good stuff. Isolation, vibration control, it's big business in the hi-fi world, and it's also a divisive topic. Some people, don't believe. Some people, swear by it. And so, there's many different technologies, many different approaches to managing vibration.
Most of what I see is the little foam panels that you just slide under speakers.
Yep.
A lot of people use those in studios, reference monitors. A lot of people use the similar sorbethane material, but these are actually a lot more durable and they don't leave that residue.
Yeah, this is a
sorbethane leaves. So.
Yeah, it's a new take, and I always like to see when someone's trying something different and pushing the envelope of what a material or a technology can do. That's always pretty exciting. So
you got some other stuff back there.
Yeah.
Sound isolation.
Yeah, and so sound isolation it's a pretty big business, and taking and isolating the say your speakers from the rest of the system. Traditionally, everyone's familiar with spikes on the bottom of speakers, or using things to isolate components from each other, because that vibration, the vibration of one can harm the sound of another device, and so on.
Yeah, Joe, what other, so you got some other products back there?
Yep, so we have ISO Acoustics, we have some still points, some of their Ultra 6 feet and their LPI, just to kind of show you today. All of them have their place in whether supporting a speaker, whether supporting a component. There's many different ways that companies are kind of tackling the problem of vibration.
So what would be the top end for sound isolation in the hi-fi world?
In my mind, I think still points. is pretty up there in terms of their scientific research, the proof of concept work that they do to create their products, anywhere from a simple foot all the way up to their ESS rack, which is as we have over there. They really just take this technology and take the discipline of vibration elimination to the nth degree. Another player is Acoustics. Their Gaia stands that we use for our bookshelves, especially if you don't have a lot of space, you have a desktop, you want to effectively isolate your speakers from the desktop itself. Acoustics Gaia feet are pretty awesome. And then, without getting in too deeply into it, Synergistic Research makes platforms. Grand Prix Audio, they make platforms utilizing carbon fiber to provide isolation, and there's some pretty neat stuff out there. There's some pretty wild stuff out there.
Yeah, cool. Whatever your budget is, someone's got something for you.
Yeah, that is true. The Hudson Hi-Fis are a great place to start. Not necessarily just start. They're a good place to really get started on the road to vibration dampening. In terms of performance per buck, I think that they're pretty up there. I think it's just getting into hi-fi, or you're having some issues vibration dampening on, say, your production equipment,
sure.
Other things. Give them a try.
So I imagine a lot of people may go out and buy the equipment, and that's kind of in the back of their mind, or they don't really think about it, so they've spent all this money,
right?
So they just grab a quick option to provide some sound dampening.
Yeah,
that's a good alternative. So some of these higher end components, speakers, what have you, do they do a better job at shielding the sound with the materials that they use?
Sometimes, and to some degrees, but you're still susceptible to the environment around you. Even the heaviest speakers can benefit from a little bit of extra dampening and vibration absorption.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed over there you've got some expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're still using some of those still point.
Yeah. And so anecdotally, one of the finest speakers I think in the world are the TAD compact reference and the TAD reference speakers. And when we got them here into the shop, took a couple pictures, put it online, and Bruce Jacobs with Still Points called me and he said, "Hey, do me a favor, take 3 Ultra 6 feet and put 3 Ultra 6 feet under each speaker in between the stand and
that's why there's 3. Okay.
Yeah, because it's one, it's 3 points, 1 in the back, 2 in the front. Use Ultra 6s in between the stand and the speaker, and this is no small feat. This is a 105-pound speaker bookshelf. I'll remind you, 105-pound bookshelf speaker.
Wow.
Put 3 under there. And the difference was shockingly good. It was such an upgrade. And so, in a lot of ways, if someone's buying a pair of compact reference from me, one of the must-haves, and immediately the conversation shifts to, okay, and then you need these Still Points Ultra 6s under them.
Okay. Cool. So if you're looking to get a good lift, buy hi-fi speakers. 5 pounds.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Not nothing.
Oh, it's a workout at the gym. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about room treatment. So what is room treatment, Joe?
Well, room treatment, think of an empty room. And you can clap your hands in an empty room, and you hear that noise, you hear that echo, that's because there is nothing that's absorbing those sounds, so they keep repeating. And so when you're thinking about music, concert halls, arenas, they're all designed very particularly for sound dispersion and sound, guiding sound and acoustic treatment. All right, so most of us have a stereo room that is comprised of 4 walls, more than likely some glass, some hardwood floors, a hard ceiling, and not exactly conducive to good audio. So you can fix that in some ways by using either materials or furniture or things to interrupt the path of the audio moving about the room.
So that's interesting. you can use furniture.
Well, yeah, a rug can absorb sound from bouncing off, coming out of the speaker itself, bouncing off the floor and then coming up at you. A rug can work for that. A bookshelf can act as diffusion. Your couch can really act as a bass trap in some ways, though it's probably not the best. And that's where products come in that people have made specifically for audio reproduction.
Sure. Plus, you cut down a lot of the white noise that just kind of comes in the room, the airflow.
Certainly, yeah. And I mean, look at this room. This was, a clap-worthy room. It was loud. It's a concrete floor. This was not conducive to a stereo shop when we first got here. That panel behind me is one example of a fiberglass panel. It's that one is 1 inch by, what does that look like? 5 feet, 60 inches. 60 inches by maybe 18.
Yeah.
Maybe 60 by 12. Anyways, we have a lot of those around the shop. And some are 4 feet by 8 feet, some are 2 feet by 8 feet. But what they're doing is they're absorbing sound and various frequencies of sound to cut down on the reflections, to cut down on outside noise, to make this place sound better. And we've accomplished that, and luckily so, because this isn't a true stereo room. This is just a 60 by 20 open space.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah. I'm a little elated. I'm a little, happy that we were able to achieve some of the quality of sound, of noise, of music that we've gotten here. All things considered, the road outside, the relative thinness of the walls, etc.
So yeah, at my home where we usually shoot, I got one of your guys' panels, the big 4x8, and then we made a handful of DIY panels out of like the mineral wool that you just get at Home Depot.
Yeah.
So it works. It's not bad. I mean, you obviously have to use a lot more of it. It's thinner and it's not as compact. But
are you compressing it? What are you doing?
Only a little bit.
Okay.
So, but we found a video online.
Okay.
And we followed their instructions, just a thin wood board and then the insulation, and then we tied fabric around it. So,
oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to ask you, what are the other types of materials that you can use? Some of these companies use that sell specific sound or room treatment panels.
Okay, so I think the big winner here is going to be fiberglass, and the cool thing about fiberglass is you can tune the formulation and density of the fiberglass to absorb specific frequencies. So still points, aperture panels are 7 or 8 layers of some frequencies pass through and terminate on the last layer. It basically, in 22 inches square, you get a whole lot of treatment in a fairly small package, which I like a lot. Then, of course, the panels like you have are 1 inch thick, and they're typically a single layer, and so they're going to capture with a spectrum of frequency. Typically, tuning the ultra highs and the highs, cutting those down. So it all depends. Of course, some of the bass traps, like the round bass traps that you've seen. Some of the corner traps, and I don't know their official name. I've just always known them as corner traps.
Just a little triangle-shaped thing.
Yeah, and they're kind of because as sound bounces around the room, that's a place where it's going to hit and then disperse back out, and kind of a wide dispersal rate as it reflects. So capturing it up there can do a heck of a lot.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Hey, you get your scabies still with that?
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out another episode of the Cask of Men. We're up here at House of Stereo. Oh fuck.
What was wrong with that?
Because I forgot what I was saying. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cask of Men, and thanks to Joe for letting us hang out here at House of Stereo. Check out all the sweet hi-fi equipment he's got and let us test out our Hudson Hi-Fi gear. Don't forget to check out houseofstereo.com and hudsonhifi.com, as well as their Amazon page, and you can see all the sound isolation products that they have, as well as all of their other hi-fi accessories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the notification bell, subscribe, And
Can I get naked yet?
no.